Let me look at.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and a very happy Sunday to all of you. We are back again this Sunday on our Share Your Shine series, part of my Be Your Own North Star brand. And what I do every week is bring you an inspiring human being, a very loving, caring, inspiring human being who has been through their moments of darkness and found their North Star and are now like they've become their own North Star and they're shining their light with others. They haven't kept it for themselves. They're shining their light with others to make their lives beautiful and empowered. We have with us here today Adwiti Subba Haffner. Adwiti is a Loretto girl like me. That's one thing that connects us. Loretto girls, if you're watching, here we have a powerhouse. And I am so grateful to Gargi. A huge shout out to Gargi. I know Adwiti because of Gargi. Adwiti and I have never met, but Gargi is a human, a loving, caring, beautiful human being. I went with her to college and she's someone who's unforgettable. I hope to bring her on this show one day. But before that, we have Adwiti here. She's the founder of Alive with Adwiti, and she is on a mission to help women access and claim their abundance so they can seize their inner power and live a life of success and fulfillment through their own inner guide. Welcome, Adwiti. I
Oh,
know I've watched you. We've been watching each other grow and expand for God knows how many years now. I think you were the first person I reached out to for a
wow.
reading. I remember it was an angel card reading, I think.
Yes.
And you were the first person I reached out to in my journey of moment of darkness.
The
When I,
wow.
yes, yes.
Wow. That is like is goosebumps and just incredible. It's just like to be the spark, the first, connection. But I am so humbled to be here, honored to be here. I've watched you grow and blossom and empower yourself. Your story is incredible. I've been inspired by your consistency, your
Thank you.
you're showing up. You just really, your North Star is guiding so many women, including me, and just like
Oh, so
shining brighter. Yes, shining
thank
brighter and
you.
brighter every day, every single day. And to
Right,
know that the North Star is always available, whether it's daytime or nighttime, it's always there. But the fact is that you know that it's there, that you know that it's shining, you know where it is. And that has been an incredible thing to watch you, and
thank
your
you.
your story is just incredible. It's just the most empowering story. When I read about you going to the hospital, walking to the hospital by yourself, not
Right,
knowing that you may not be able to get up, like you don't know what was the next thing beyond the
right,
surgery.
right.
So right, that was just, that made me, it was moving. And for
Thank you.
everybody watching here, she was all alone doing this. She had kids, and a husband who didn't love her and just abandoned her. And she can do this. Women again, we talk to women because we are in places where we are constantly giving, and we're in a place like we're in a rock and a hard place a lot of times, aren't we, Sharon? Like the societal matrix, the programming that we've been through, especially us coming from, India and Nepal and, Asia, the way the indoctrination is
I
just so
agree.
powerful that, to break out of that mold, it's
I always say this, the way we were raised it's actually a very beautiful way when we are taught to put others before you, or care about others and be giving and nurturing. All that is very beautiful. That there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah,
but there's nothing wrong with that to be more loving, more giving, more
yeah,
caring, more sharing.
compassionate. Yeah.
Yes, but what we didn't learn along with that, like what's missing, is
Hmm.
the awareness that nobody should be abusing us on that or taking advantage of that situation. We don't care, love, and give from a place of feeling depleted and destroyed. So what's missing is the doctrination of setting boundaries, healthy boundaries. What's
Right.
missing is the teaching of being able to say no. I mean,
Right.
as kids, what we
And then,
learn, in our language, when we are learning the ABC, when we are kids, what occurred to me is, in the whole alphabet, after N comes O.
wow.
N-O. In the
Right.
alphabet itself,
Right.
N-O are juxtaposed in a way where you learn the word no in the
Right.
alphabet before you learn any
That's
other word.
incredible. Yes, that
That
is
was that
incredible.
that was a moment of discovery for me, and we think no is a bad thing.
Right. Exactly. And I would add to that, just all of that is absolutely true, boundaries and everything. And then, this is what I teach a lot to my clients and to my
Right.
people, is like you encompass all of that as a deeper sense of self-love, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like
Absolutely.
you encapsulate all of that. If you love yourself, then you are happy to say no without actually feeling bad and feeling guilt. You're also happy to be able to love yourself first before you're like giving out so much. So
Yes, and the other side of saying no to others is saying yes to yourself. You're very correct.
exactly, absolutely. So there's just so much, and there's just again, there's just so much balance.
Right.
Because I have seen women who have taken this self-love and gone all the way to the level that, they've become almost mean because they think that, it's got to be mean and bitchy to be that, but you don't
Right.
have to be that. There's just like the compassion flows in such a way that
Right.
the flow itself will show you, teach you, bring forth the answers in such a way that you really don't even have to say no. It's almost an automatic, natural thing. I think it's like, again, the law of vibration, or, all of that, that people feel the boundaries versus,
Right.
right? They feel the
Got
boundaries.
it.
Yeah,
Got it.
we ourselves, we know how to communicate with certain people in certain ways, and how to communicate with others who have no boundaries. So if you have that, you don't even have to say no. It's also so implied.
Beautiful.
You're right.
I get
um
it. I get
yeah,
it. Like, for example, I wouldn't make a request to someone where I know she wouldn't do it. Like, she
exactly,
has that presence in her that I'm not
exactly.
going to do it. Yes,
Yeah.
we have a friend watching us. Hi, Harshita. Thank you for hopping on and listening to us. Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome
welcome,
here.
Harshita.
Harshita, I think, is in India.
Oh, she
Um,
is. Yay.
Yes, yes. So, Adwiti, I know that you're a transformative hypnotherapist. You're into meditation, Himalayan bowls, and sound therapy. This is so funny. I have a Himalayan bowl at home, and I've been trying and trying to sustain. Like, I make tong, I make that noise, but how to make it buzz and keep it
Oh, yeah,
going?
yeah.
That is something I have to learn, and I'm
Right, right, right,
so
right.
intrigued by that. I'm so
Oh,
intrigued by that.
it's just amazing, amazing conduit. Beautiful. I
Right.
actually call my bowls beings because of
Beautiful.
yes, I can't call them bowls because each one has energetically imbibed a spirit that they're
Wow.
alive. Yes, they are alive. So much healing has happened. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
we
then
can go
you're
into the
into
demonstration at the end, like maybe about 5 minutes.
absolutely. I would love that. And then
Really,
you're into yoga and qigong. And
I know.
I well,
I'm a
yoga was
one-stop shop.
yes, beautiful. Yoga was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
When I was in my dark moments, meditation and yoga was very, very helpful to bring me back into alignment. And my favorite pose was the warrior pose.
Oh yes, of course. You're like, boom, right?
Yes, that's my
The interesting factor is when you go back, like in the Gita, the word yoga has been mentioned throughout the book about 27 times. And it is the first book of yoga. A lot of
uh,
people think that Patanjali Sutras is the first book, but actually it's the first book because the Gita is all the yoga of meditation, the yoga of karma, the yoga, so all chapters are actually divided into the yoga. So a lot of people neglect to actually pick up the Gita when they're studying yoga. Well, yoga has become so commercialized nowadays,
yes, yes,
that
absolutely,
think that the poses as yoga, but it's really not. It's just so much more to yoga. So, and
absolutely.
but
Harshita
that's
says
another
we
thing that I need to talk about as well in all of my stuff. But
yes.
yeah. Well,
Harshita
15 minutes already
says
gone.
yes. Harshita says warrior women. As I am also single mom of a daughter. Proud of you, Harshita. Proud
Yes,
of you for creating a legacy for your daughter. You're showing her the way, leading by example. So,
right.
Adwiti, I would like to ask you a little bit about your story. Tell us a little bit about, I know what you do. We've shared this right now, but I want to know about your journey. Where did you come from? What were certain moments of darkness in your life where you got to see your North Star? Tell us all.
Okay. So, how there were so many North Star moments, and I would say I'm still evolving, and that, I'm still, all of us are, in the process of
Right.
becoming. So, I would go really all the way back, and I want to try to keep it as short as possible because of time limits. And I also like brevity, being poets, we like that.
Yes.
So, when I was born in Darjeeling, India. So Darjeeling, India, which is in the Himalayas, in the foothills of the Himalayas, and it's between Nepal and India. So a lot of my ethnicity actually comes from Nepal. So I'm Nepalese, born in like ancestrally, raised, born, everything in India. I was in Darjeeling. My home was in sort of a valley, and on the top of the valley was a temple, and that temple was Dirdam temple, and it was a Shiva temple. So it was a really, really beautiful thing. But every morning before, when we went to school, we took a round around the temple, and the monk would be chanting, not the monk, the priest would be chanting all the mantras and prayers, right? So some of the mantras being, one of the ones that I remember very well is Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So
Beautiful.
mantras became like it got installed in my DNA. I was able to feel that peace just going to school, but that was when I was going to school. That's what I remember. But I also know that when I was 4, my mom passed away. So
Hmm.
yes, so it was just my dad.
Oh,
So that kind of gave me some kind of peace of mind, right? But then just above my house was a Baptist church. And
okay.
then every 12 o'clock, we'd hear the temple bells, right?
Right.
Mantras would relieve inside and out in all the mind. That's right. So it would relieve all the mind, right? And then all the way up. we would have, there was a Japanese temple on top of the hill, was a Japanese,
Wow.
and on top of the at 5 in the morning, what we would hear, this monk walking around, Nam myo
Wow.
renge kyo. Nam renge kyo. Nam renge kyo. Nam renge kyo. Right?
Wow.
That was that. Then
Wow.
every 2 hours, there was a mosque in the middle of our town. And every 2 hours, we'd wake up. And so what they would tell us is like, um, if you make a wish in the middle of the night, when the azan call,
Kazan.
the
Yes.
azan call is going, then you can. So I think it was 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock they'd have, and then it would be like echoing throughout the valley, right? And it
Wow.
was like Allahu Akbar, Allah. So it was that. So we were raised with like, and then I went to a Catholic convent school where we did
Right.
hymns. So this whole eclectic mix of everything is like a hologram in
Absolutely.
my body. So it was like,
Yes.
right? It's like,
Right.
it reverberates like images inside, and you've got prayer flags, and you've got monasteries everywhere. You've got sadhus and sages coming from all over, and imparting wisdom in our little town.
Mm.
So it was like a melting pot, like no other melting pot that I've ever seen. So it's just an amazing,
Absolutely.
right? So
Right.
then, the war broke out in Darjeeling.
Okay.
I saw people's heads beheaded
Oh,
and hung. Yes. So
oh my gosh.
those were the images again after all these beautiful, you know, eclectic, spiritually enhancing, spiritually just, in your cells, in your bones, and then all of a sudden the contrast of war, right?
Right.
So
So it
that
was
was
like a total disruption of tranquility.
absolutely, and it was a disruption. War is needed for sure, but to bring some peace, because whatever desires and hopes and aspirations that our little town had, was not being heard. So that had to be heard. So so I applied for a job for Hong Kong
Mm.
as a flight attendant.
Right.
And then at 19, now, Kshurin knows that when you are in an Asian household, when you're in the Asian household, like at 18 and 19, you don't leave home. You got to
No.
finish everything. You're like doing until you
Yes.
get married. You
Right.
stay in the house until you get married, or you're sent to school or college or whatever. But you're still coming home to your home.
Right.
So right. So, but I left. I left at 19,
Wow.
and yes, I left for Hong Kong because it was just crazy. And then I was a flight attendant. It was like this high flying life, traveled the world, like it was an international circuit. So, Europe and every part of everything, and in my peak of my youth. So it was very exciting. But
Absolutely.
yes, it was extremely exciting. And then I owned a restaurant, a Nepalese restaurant, and a trading company. So on the outside, I looked like I had the most amazing life. I looked like
Mm.
the most amazing life. I was married, and it was everything was just a facade.
Mm.
Flight attendant. I loved traveling. I hated my job. I hated my job so much because I knew in my heart that I was not meant to be just smiling and serving drinks. Right? I
Mm.
just had food. That I knew in my heart that I had something so much more to give, so much more to serve, and so much there was like this hunger, a desire deep inside that was stuffed inside so deep that during that time I was an insomniac. I couldn't sleep. I was a stressed out human being. I was scared and afraid. I was the most negative human you could come across.
Mm.
Can you believe? Now, if I tell anybody that I was the most negative thinking person, I was into nihilism and, just really thoughts like I couldn't even think about a holiday without thinking that the holiday is going to end and then I'll have to go back to my grind. It's so bad. Um, and then, then the defining moment happened, right? The true North Star moment happened when I
Right.
actually met a Zen master in flight. And
Ah,
I know. And he looked at me and see
he knew.
when when you are in that place. So if all the women are looking right now, right, watching right now, what happens is that you don't even know that your life has crumbled inside because you're so much in the surface, just trying to make things happen and look happy and do things that deep inside your soul, your heart, and all, you don't even recognize yourself. So there's a time when
Right.
you look at the mirror, then I didn't even know myself, right? So for
Mm.
women, like the symptoms would be yes, the insomniac, you can't go to sleep. You don't love, you're angry at everything. You're angry
Yes.
at everything, right? You don't want
Right.
to cook, you don't want to clean, you don't want to take care of yourself, you don't want to do anything. And
Yes.
yet you do it because that's the groove. That's what the grid has been laid for. And you're just doing that. You just keep doing that. And
Like a robot.
it is a robot
Like a robot.
zombie feeling. It is a
Yes.
robot zombie one. Yes, exactly. You're a robot. So the disconnect is like you don't feel like meditating. You don't know anything. Like I was such. You don't meditate. You don't want to meditate. You just all you want to do is like veg and do things that are pleasing you outside of you, not inside of you.
Yes.
So you keep going for more things. Is this the next shiny object that's going to make me happier? Is this the next,
Right.
right? So,
Right.
I studied business administration, which is really not my field. It's not my field.
Mm.
So you do that. And then you go into um, uh, you go into like relationships, your friendships, and all of that just does not, it's not vibing.
Right.
Right, it is so superficial. So this is some of the signs and symptoms that will show you before you just collapse and crash. And then the Zen master said, you look so amazing, everybody in the world thinks that you have the best thing going on in your life, but I see a fallen tree, a fallen tree.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I know,
He
I see.
he he could see it.
You could see it.
Wow.
And then, so he said, well, you want to come see me, for the next day? And so I said, sure, I'll come and see you next day. So I went and saw him and he recorded a tape. This is like, totally my story right here is like bearing, like I have zero, I'm just talking, like I'm talking to a
Mm.
friend. All right. So bearing all of that. So he recorded something and he said within 6 months, if you don't go on a timeout, then I
Mm.
then I will, I will just leave what I'm doing. So he had said all this, right? So in that cassette tape, it was a cassette tape time. That was like several decades ago.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so I came home and I threw the tape somewhere. I did not
Yeah.
believe. I did not believe him. I was like, what is this crap? This is nonsense. I don't believe
Mm,
it. Believe me, I did
mm.
not believe in this. I did not. I forgot about him. Forgot about him. And then within that next 6 months, like more and more started revealing, like a veil had been opened,
Lifted.
lifted. So things started crashing, like absolutely collapsing. Finding out that my manager in the Nepalese restaurant was stealing money, like cash, like
Mm,
totally money. Some of the money that I put on stocks was just like crashing, losing money. My relationship was on the dogs. I didn't know that. It was like really not in a very good place. It was really, really bad. And then one morning, I just like was drinking my coffee literally when I said, what is my life? Where's
mm.
life going? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I don't know who I am.
Yes,
It was the scariest moment when you look at the mirror and you don't recognize you.
absolutely. Been
Scary.
there.
I know
Yeah.
you have. You have no roots. You have no wings. You
No.
have no purpose. You have no place. You have no image of anything that is you. You have
Mm,
nothing. You have
mm.
nothing. And when I
No.
say nothing, it's not the spiritual nothing. It's not the darkness of nothing. This is the complete shattering of everything.
Everything.
It's like,
Absolutely.
who am I? Right? So then, I started like, I'm just gonna leave everything. I'm just gonna leave everything. Everything was just like, collapsing. Relationship collapsed. My restaurant, collapsed. My trading company collapsed. My job was wonderful, but the glimmer of hope was that they said, it was a time when they said, you can do a voluntary retirement and they will give an extra sum of money, like a big lump
Right.
sum of money, or
I
you can,
remember.
yeah. So they said, or you can continue. So I took the lump sum and then I was clearing my empty house. And then I saw the cassette tape.
Ah,
And then I
wow.
put on the cassette tape and I was like, I sat down, everything was piled up, everything I was moving, everything was like collapsed, like literally that place when you have nothing, and then the cassette tape was playing and his voice saying, your life is not what you think it is. And that he had said 6 months ago. So I made a phone call to Dr. Young,
Mm, mm,
and then I made an appointment with him to go all the way to Malaysia to stay with him.
mm.
Yes. So I
And get.
left everything. I did get that voluntary redundancy. I left everything and went to Malaysia. So then that's where I studied the Zen
Zen.
principles, actually spiritual healing. Um, Healing from like Reiki and spiritual, like going into different dimensions. It was like a
Mm,
very deep study that we did. Um,
right.
yeah, so I did all of that, and it was for 6 months, on and off, going in and out, and then that's when I said, then he said maybe he and we both kind of said almost like I need to go to the US.
Mm,
So I had nothing. I had nothing again. I had some money, I had a laptop,
Mm.
and I had a laptop, and then I just said, okay, I'm just gonna go. So I knew nobody. I had a cousin who was married, she was studying, but I just, I didn't want to burden her with anything. So I just kind of flew to the US, just traveling in different destinations, just trying to find myself, enjoy, just do a total free fall. And that was the moment when I realized the power of letting go.
Mm.
Power of letting go. That you
Right.
do not have to hold on. I didn't know what my next meal would come from, where my next meal will come from, or where I would be staying the next day. It was a total vagabond time that I was traveling. So that's when I met my husband, and he's just the most amazing man. And again, that was like this amazingness, like the universe just bringing him to me, and we seeing each other and like recognizing each other as past life. It was that kind of connection that we had. So now we're married for 20 years. Um, so that was one place that I found my North Star. And then the other,
Beautiful.
yeah. So do you have any questions or?
No, I'm just blown away. I'm silent. I'm blown away. This
Really,
is such a powerful story. This is
really?
such a powerful story. It's very moving,
Wow.
very moving. And I could see myself in so many instances when you shared, like, who am I? And what a monster I had become when you go into that, like a hamster on a wheel, like, you're in that state of negativity that becomes just a reflex for you. Like there's no other way you can be. And so you can't put brakes. You just
Disconnect.
can't put brakes. Yes. And you
No.
can't put brakes. And
Yeah.
so there were times when like I lost it. I completely lost it. So, in those moments in time when I was going through my darkness, being empowered meant to fight back, and to fight
Right.
back meant to
To be
argue,
angry.
to
Yes.
be angry and send
Angry.
these you somebody sent me a text message and I have to win this, like
Right.
sending the text messages
Exactly.
back, and
Oh my God.
and
Yes. The ego struggle.
shutting it.
Oh my God. The ego
Yes.
battle. Yes.
Like so angry and upset at how I was being treated. Like the focus was totally on how I'm going to reciprocate for the, like, I'm ready with ammunition. Come
Right.
on, attack,
Right.
like attack,
Right.
come,
Right. Right.
like,
Right. You're a
yes,
warrior, but you're a warrior in a different way. The warrior spirit
destructive.
is inside you, but you've got the destructive, like the other side, like the
Yes,
anti-war, anti-hero sort of
yes,
way. So yes, you definitely the hero's journey.
yes,
You were the anti-hero. I was the anti-hero, getting all of that.
right,
And then I had
right.
the second opening. The second opening was, so I went and did hypnotherapy. I studied. We have some time, right? I have some
Yes,
time.
lots of time. Please go. please, please go ahead.
Okay. So then I got married, and it was like this beautiful life where you are in love and finding that love. Just like then, what happened was my life became his life became mine. So
Yes,
we just kind of like intertwined, and we were each other's world, and there was no other world. So at least for me, it was just such a beautiful, and me not having a mother, this created a very, very beautiful bonding, unconditional love that I was giving and I was getting reciprocated with. And so it was just a beautiful relationship. And then I am, as you know, in Alabama, and decades ago, that time, Alabama was, I'm trying to get my fleek on. I see myself.
So sweet.
So in Alabama at that time, it's still of a sort of a, and I've got nothing against it. I love this place. I love the people. The people are beautiful, but it's very Christian community, so they don't have an idea of like the kind of things that I bring, the messiness
Right.
that I bring, that the Buddhism and Zen and all these principles, so hypnotherapy and all of that. So although my life was amazing, I got into another job instead of my spiritual practice.
Ah, okay.
Yes, I
Okay,
got
got it.
into a job, and that job was obviously because it had to be, I was the guest services manager
Mm.
for a huge rental company, which with about thousands of rental, and I was the guest services manager, and I hated the job.
Of
I
course, it must have been go, 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 go.
Oh, again. So it was back again to the go, go, go. And then that momentum created, then that was fine for a little bit. And then I had my baby. Now, after having the baby, I was still having my small coaching business that I'd opened. I started, and so I had some international clients, but it was not to the extent that I'd wanted. So it was not to the extent that I want to really shine my North Star. It was just
Right.
very, very clouded. There was just like not much going on. I had like too few clients, who actually heard of me through somebody, through somebody. It was nothing that I was doing, no marketing, nothing, just people that heard about me. So, but I had a baby. So I had a beautiful relationship with my baby. Everything was amazing. But even as through all of this, my spirit hungered to do what I do now.
Mm.
My spirit hungered. My baby was beautiful. I took care of her. I was, we decided to stay. Yeah, I was staying at home taking care of the baby while he did the work. And then I felt so trapped.
Mm.
Even as beautiful and amazing my husband is, and everything was beautiful, there was this trapped feeling of like, how do I get out of this? I even had a dream. I even had a
Right.
dream that I was actually in an actual dream that I was in prison.
Ooh, symbolic.
I know it was so symbolic. So it was just, it just so it was a very, very, it was a dichotomy in that time because it was so beautiful. And yet there was like this deep darkness that was like pulling me down in such a
Right.
way that a part of me was not fulfilled, a part
Yes.
of me, that full feeling like a thirst was not quenched. you know
Mm.
yes, and I was starving to um show my to what I can say, like my spirituality, to show that I have all of this, I have all these tools, these techniques that I can help people, go from, lack and darkness and anger and confusion to, I can bring them to this light way, to this way where they can be so empowered and strong, because I had done it for myself several times
Right.
and my clients were getting great results. And then and being here, I was separated from my culture, and in Alabama and this place where I live, there was not even an Indian restaurant. So
Wow.
wow. So
Mm.
so I had to go 2 hours or an hour and a half to actually have Indian food. So it was isolating.
Mm.
So from a place where, hub of Hong Kong, where everything was like happening for me, and I was able to get like any restaurant I wanted, travel the world,
Yes.
to like the other extreme of isolation.
Mm.
So it's like what the spirit does, to show you where you are vibrationally.
Absolutely.
Like that internal negativity, like the deep negativity, because of the deep programming, obviously losing your mom, the war, all of that, and probably past lives, if you believe in that, we're all etched inside that needed to be erased,
Mm.
clear, right? And then the one thing that does that better than anything else, I'm sorry to say, is death.
Mm.
So there's so many things happened around the death of my father. That was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, when my father passed away, he was the closest thing to me besides my husband, Eric. Like, I loved him
Of
because
course.
my mom passed away, so he was really close, but I couldn't be with him while he died. All of that, the separation, the pain was so bad. And again, when I came back, after the death, after his funeral and everything, after I came back, I fell on a hole for almost a year and a half, an abyss again.
Mm.
Sadness, yes. So even though you have the spiritual tools, even though you have, the amazingness, you think you have it all. You think that you've got uh, the strength, you think you have the empowerment, you think you have the skill set, you have all of that, you do, which you do. But when something as drastic as that happens, when somebody you love so much happens, then all those skill sets and tools and everything gets like so buried and like kicked so far away that you can't even see that you have that. So you fall into it again. So I did. I really did fall into a very, very dark time where I felt like, what is the use of anything? You know,
Mm.
oh, what is the use? Death was a huge thing that kind of brought me face to face with life.
Mm.
Just brought me face to face with life. Once again, who am
And
I?
and perhaps the futility of attachment.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then this was this next level of looking at myself and saying, who am I?
Mm.
Who the hell am I here?
Right.
What am I here for? Yes, I have a beautiful family. I have an amazing husband. I have abundance. Like, you know, he makes a good living. I don't have to lift a finger, nothing. But all that didn't matter. All that didn't matter. It's the spirit that I am, the way I want to be, the way I want to express myself was again being squelched by myself,
Mm.
being squelched by myself. So that was another abysmal time that I went through. And then I found my North Star by, I went through a transformative process. And this one, this time, I didn't need a Zen master. This time, I didn't
Right.
need coaches. I didn't need anybody. This
You
time,
went in. You went in. Yes.
do you get goosebumps?
Yes.
Yes, this time it was here. It was here.
Mm.
And this is when the real Adwiti
Showed
arose.
up.
Yes,
Mm.
this is when I
Powerful.
showed up for me. It was not from the Zen master. Of course, he was instrumental, because he had
You had the tools. You
I
had
had
the
the
tools.
tool. I did. And when I rose, oh my gosh, it was a different me. It was a
Mm.
different me. It was a different me. It was the death of everything that was not of service to the whole of humanity.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yes, not just me, but the
Mm.
whole of humanity, because it was like to come to a place of, I am here, I'm unattached. Whatever I give, whatever I do, the desire is there, but the attachment was like, it doesn't really matter.
So your doing is fulfilling enough the
Yes,
journey of what
yes,
you have to offer. You're
yes.
giving it. Actually, that's what I say. Actually, the people who are showing up as your clients are holding the space for you to feel fulfilled in your giving and in your generosity. They
Right,
are being generous and being an
right,
allowance of you to
right,
serve.
right. Exactly. The service, the offer. I mean, you are here. I'm here to kind of shift people now that I know that I can in such a way, not to just meddle around and mess around with like little
Mm,
techniques and tools, to really get in there and help you find who you are deep inside. And when you find
mm.
who you are deep inside, all bets are off.
Yes.
All bets are off. You don't have excuses. You don't have doubts. You don't have fears. I mean, of course I have fears. I mean, I'm not saying that. Of course I have doubts, but I have excuses. But then when the real you is showing up, all those things are like being, you can slay them. You can slay them. You can dissolve them. You can easily say, okay, this is an illusion.
Mm,
So there's so much of, so to wake up, time. And I'm sure there's another huge awakening for me, around the corner, for all of us, around the corner if we choose. And
mm,
yes, there is always the choice, because I could have chosen to turn a blind eye in my first awakening, and not awake and just be a robot for the rest of my life, and be an insomniac and pop pills after pills after pills.
mm,
And it's such a as poets, we can actually see images and we can feel the feelings. And there's just one moment that I remember when I took the sleeping pill, because I was taking sleeping pills to go to sleep. When I took the sleeping pill and I had an early morning flight the next day, there was like a guillotine effect, just because I felt like from here downward everything was dead. But
numb.
I was numb because of the pill, but I was awake still, because I just couldn't sleep and the pills were just doing its job.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that such a significant journey? Like when I come to think about it, that was exactly what was going on, in everybody's life. In my life, I mean, yes, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. This is such a powerful story, Adwiti. I really appreciate and I'm grateful that you came on this platform to share your story. It's such an honor to know you, and I would like to connect with you and take my journey to the next level. I'm very curious about Zen, and would love to know the tools and techniques that you have. Also, tell us something about what you're doing now and where can we find you.
Oh,
You have a
wonderful.
website. You have a website.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you can find me on my Facebook page, which is Adwiti Subba Haffner. That's like one of the places that I actually live, and business wise. Most of my friends and family, I have another profile, but this is just a business profile. So you can inbox me, whatever, that's fine. And then I have a website which is alivewithadwiti.com. And that's where all my services are. Some of my services, not all of them, and a lot of Himalayan bowl meditations are also available on my website. So you can actually download those or buy them for a really, really nominal price. Um, and then what I do really is take, oh my gosh, the approach is amazing, because I find it so much fun, because when you work with me, it's just going to be like one step deeper within as you go within. But as you go within, we do it with so much fun. There's always like an element of fun and playfulness and femininity, that we rejoicing in every step. And some of the sessions might be that I use hypnotherapy, so you might be going into a place where you need to excoriate or pull out or extract something. But that will be done more gently, to extract like your past pains, to extract your past old lack and ideas, and then I'll also use hypnotherapy to dissolve your shadows, and shadows being your doubts, your limited will. So some people do shadow alchemy by just like talking to the shadow and just kind of like slaying the shadow. For me, I put you in a meditative place, and then I just kind of ask you to go within, and it's a very beautiful process by honoring your shadow. So it's a little bit different. So there's a lot of honoring and respecting the journey, the parts inside you, even the lack. Every part of you is honored in the journey.
And they
So
are making a contribution. It was your place of lack that led you to this place of
to this
abundance.
place, exactly, exactly, very, very
Ev-
good,
Everything.
exactly. And then to the place where money seems to be a huge thing for women. So although my process, money is like a benefit or an after effect. Although money is the main thing that I talk about, but it's really an after effect compared to what we do within, right? So, but
Right.
yes, but people have been able to clear blocks in such a way that they've been stuck for a year and a half, and then they break through and go to their levels, like higher levels of
The
making
next
money
level.
in the next several next levels. Actually, they catapulted within 3 months with me what they were stuck for a year and a half. Some people, double, triple, quadruple their income, staying with me. Some people, like first time coaches, actually, they one of the coaches just had a big sale, like her first high-end sale, high-end ticket sale. So the money is an outpicturing of your belief.
Mm,
So right, so
absolutely.
right, so
Absolutely. Mm.
so whether it's relationship or whether it's money, it's abundance. But
Yes.
whatever it is, right? Health, it's abundance. It's still an outpicturing of what you're believing inside. And so whatever I teach or however we deal with this, what we are doing is we are loosening that belief, because it's so tight and like installed. So we loosen it and then we let it go. So that
Mm.
loosening factor happens, because holding on to it, right? So just letting go part of it, releasing it. So there's a lot of steps involved in letting go of that, and becoming a clean slate in order to reach your
Mm.
next level, in order to make more money, in order to have better health,
Well,
or
that's your life's work. You've lived
yes,
it. This
yes,
is
this is
your
what I
life's work.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've just started teaching tantra, because tantra has been like a very interesting thing, and I've been studying it for 5 years or more, and I haven't been open about it because people tend to think tantra is so much about sex, but it's really not about sex. It's like, and I add this into my coaching, to integrate the male and female, to really bring that feminine energy of receiving and the masculine energy of supporting, which is inside you. All of that is an integration. So, what does integration bring? It brings more pleasure, it brings more energy, it brings more bliss, because, when male and female are joining together, there is the bliss. Right? There is the bliss factor, but you don't have to get it from a male. You can get it within yourself, that bliss factor within yourself. And then when you are in that space of bliss and joy and love, what happens? Your vibration increases. When your vibration increases, you just like magically attract, more money and
Everything.
every
Everything.
yes, yes, yes. So this is like so it's a magical journey. And one of my clients just said, like, being in Adwiti's sessions are like going having a magic carpet ride. And and I thought
Oh,
that was, I know, and I thought,
okay. I'm gonna explore and take that ride in the future, or maybe very soon.
absolutely,
Who knows? Yes.
absolutely,
Th-
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Adwiti, for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your light. You are truly a great beacon of light. And
Oh,
there's so much I learned from you, despite my own journey. There's so much of uh, moments when you were sharing that lit up bulbs in my head, of how well you expressed and how you have actually mastered letting go.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
not, that's the one of the hardest
this is
lessons,
the hardest thing.
one
Yes.
of the hardest lessons to let go. And
And it is the quintessential lesson because once you
absolutely.
let go and let God or let, the universe, um, then again,
Yes.
that's where everything happens. That's
Everything shifts.
everything
Yes.
shift. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Terry, for having me here. For anybody watching, I just send you so much peace and blessings and Namyo Horenge Kyo, Om Mani Padme Hum. Just be still and know that you're God. All of that, all of that, all of
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all those who are watching this. Thank you for your time. I wish you a blessed Sunday. And share this video with people so that they can get their own lessons, their own meanings from this story that Adwiti has shared, and they can find their own paths from this story. So, thank you, everyone. Have a blessed Sunday and cheers.
that. Namaste,
Namaste.
namaste,
Namaste.
namaste.
Namaste.